Google uses Anthropic's Claude for benchmarking Gemini AI, report suggests. For OpenAI, revisiting the idea of humanoid robots would mean playing catch-up in a rapidly advancing and highly competitive field. Though the company has deep AI expertise, its robotics division, if revived, would face the challenge of competing with already established robotics firms that have made considerable progress. From startups to large companies, the humanoid robotics market is becoming increasingly crowded, with several players already well on their way to creating practical and capable robots. Google uses Anthropic's Claude for benchmarking Gemini AI, report suggests, in an effort to refine its Gemini AI. Google has reportedly been using Anthropic's Claude as a benchmark to assess the performance of its model, according to internal communications reviewed by TechCrunch. The practice involves contractors tasked with evaluating the output of Gemini by comparing it to responses generated by Anthropic's Claude, which has been considered one of the prominent alternatives in the competitive AI landscape. While Google did not confirm whether it had obtained formal permission from Anthropic for using Claude in these evaluations, the reports indicate that the benchmarking process involves rigorous comparison of answers based on multiple factors such as truthfulness, clarity, and verbosity. Contractors are given up to 30 minutes per prompt to determine which model, Gemini or Claude, produces the most accurate or appropriate response. As AI companies accelerate their development of more advanced models, it's common for teams to evaluate their products by comparing them to others in the industry. However, instead of conducting side-by-side comparisons through contractors, companies often rely on running their models through established industry benchmarks. Google's approach, which has involved manual comparison of AI-generated responses, sets it apart from this more typical method. The contractors working on Gemini have recently observed an increasing number of references to Claude within the internal platform they use to compare Gemini's outputs with other unnamed AI models. In one instance, an output shown to contractors clearly identified itself as Claude, created by Anthropic. The comparison process has highlighted some differences between the two models, especially in terms of safety protocols. According to internal chats, some contractors have noted that Claude's responses seem to place a greater emphasis on safety than Gemini's. One contractor even observed that Claude's safety settings appeared to be the strictest in the industry. For instance, Claude would refuse to respond to certain prompts it deemed unsafe, such as those requesting role-playing scenarios involving another AI assistant. In contrast, Gemini's response was flagged for a huge safety violation for containing inappropriate content. Anthropic's terms of service prohibit customers from using Claude to build competing products or train competing AI models without explicit approval. Interestingly, Google is one of the major investors in Anthropic, adding a layer of complexity to this situation. Shira McNamara, a spokesperson for Google DeepMind, responsible for the development of Gemini, did not confirm whether Google had obtained Anthropic's consent to use Claude for these tests. When approached for comment, an Anthropic representative declined to provide a statement before publication. McNamara did, however, clarify that while Google compares the outputs of various models for evaluation purposes, it does not use other companies' models, like Claude, in the training process for Gemini. She emphasized, while we compare model outputs as part of our evaluation, any suggestion that we are using Anthropic models to train Gemini is inaccurate. The use of external benchmarks is not uncommon, but the involvement of competitors' models in such a direct comparison raises important questions, especially as the AI industry becomes more competitive. Just last week, TechCrunch reported that Google contractors are now being tasked with evaluating Gemini's AI responses in areas outside their expertise. Some contractors have expressed concerns that Gemini might generate inaccurate or unreliable information on critical topics, such as healthcare.